Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this week's episode of Gym Owners Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Stone. Over there's John Fairbanks. How you doing, John?
Hello, Tyler.
Let's get into it. Just kidding. Follow the show at the Gym Owners Podcast on Instagram. Make sure you join the Gym Owners Revolution Facebook group. Link is in the description there. If you want to work with us directly, we can help you help your gym get awesome, doing shit the right way without being shady. No crazy, disingenuous X amount of members in X amount of days shit. We're just going to get you to work in the trenches. We're going to help you. We're going to hold you accountable. Make sure your shit gets done. Make sure the right shit gets done. We'll help you prioritize and execute the things that you determine. We'll help you determine is the most important things that your gym needs right now to be successful in the long run, as well as the short term, keeping the lights on. So that can be done at gymownersrevolution.com, or you can message us directly at thedudes@hackyourgym.com. That's probably our most radio-friendly, appropriate email address for that. Let's get to it. We got a few subjects we're going to dive into today. One of them is something that we've been working on with a couple of gym owners in the Gear Academy, which is our consulting product, is finding a way to not balance, but to build some new programs, specialty programs that go on from, you have things in your gym that you do, whether it's just seasonal ups and downs, from whether it's kids programs, depending if you coach a lot of youth, whether you just have a big boom in the winter, whether you get busier, slower in the summertime. A lot of it depends on the type of gym you have. But there are ebbs and flows that go on throughout your year. It's always going to be the case. We also do, I think it's important that we do some, not one-offs, but how do I describe that? I'm going to say the term specialty program, even though it does get a bit convoluted when I say that, but that can be everything from challenge to a kids program to a sports performance thing to simply like hey, here's a big bulk up cycle we're trying to run if anyone wants interested in it. Those types of things. I think it's important that a gym, try some stuff, give somebody an opportunity to try something new, give people who are already in your base level of coaching product, especially if you have a general membership, you want to give those people a chance to reinvest, to reinvigorate, to recommit to something, because that's the way a person's lifetime fitness journey goes. I did this thing and maybe I'm a little stale on it, or maybe it's just not as interesting. It's not as novel anymore, right? Going to the gym and grinding out the same stuff over and over again and being consistent and getting good at these handful of lifts and all of that stuff is a great recipe for long-term health, but it's fucking boring. It's fucking boring. I don't write programs for people that are optimized for peak total outcome first. Someone needs that, they can go to somewhere else. It's like mine is optimized for what is going to keep them in the game for the long run without compromising actual results. Because I need them to be interested. If they quit training in 3 weeks because I had them do the exact fucking same exercises with the perfectly crafted increase in progression and all this shit, it's going to be boring to them if they're new. Therefore, novelty is a part of adherence. It's important. It's just really, really important. So when we're doing stuff for our gym, I think I don't want you to get distracted by always trying to launch something new. But when we're going to have a program, I think it's very important that we do what we've always done, which is to go back and debrief these things, but also don't lose sight of the thing that underpins your entire gym, which is your base stuff, your real bread and butter. That is the thing that we need to be focusing on as well. So there's a balancing act that we start to see gyms need to do. Is I see gyms succeed in balancing by failing to really try to promote their specialty stuff. They'll do like one post on the internet about it. Oh, we got a new summer program, or we got a kids program. You post about it once and you get what you get, and that's the way it is. And you didn't have a real plan and you didn't really launch it. And that's kind of how gym owners kind of make that balance work. Like, well, I mean, I just need to focus on my membership then. We did this thing, it maybe kind of worked, but what you really did was didn't do that thing. You half-assed the promotion, you didn't put a ton of effort into it. And then now you're just going to say, well, I'll just stay back on my other thing. The other thing we see gym owners do is chasing novelty too much, constantly running a program, constantly trying to do something new, constantly building new things, which is the most not profitable thing that you can do, is to constantly be building. And so we see a lot of gyms that do that type of stuff too, that are constantly chasing the new thing to the detriment of developing their bread and butter, their EFTs, their base membership, the pool with which you try to sell from. And that is It's a balancing act. It's constantly, but you need to give every part of your business an actual chance to succeed. It can't just be, if you're going to try something, you got to actually try it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and when you say specialty program too, so any of you that are listening and you think about how that applies to your spot, do you have something that's not running all the time? So if it's not like open for, and that's kind of where it's like your membership is always available. It's always open. Do you have something that's time focused, right? It has a start, it has an end. Now it can be something you do all the time, or you have the ability to do it at multiple times a year, but it is, do you have something, that product? And that's always what, like, that is that specialty program. The one
Yeah.
thing we've been on, so we've been on both such ends of the spectrum for this, depending on the gym owner, to the point to where it's, I forgot when we had worked with gyms that were so heavily focused on doing something new all the time, that I forgot that there's a large population that you are not doing anything. And I don't, and I mean that
Yes.
respectful, and I mean specifically towards, right? Specifically towards this concept of having a specialty program, having something else. A lot of times, another word that's out there is a high ticket, right? That high ticket program that exists. There's a lot of gyms that just is, nope, we do what we do, and this is what we have, and this is what we offer. And then the next step, so kind of almost maybe a prescription of how do you start, Tyler, to pull yourself out of that. So if you're a gym that you just have your open gym membership or your group membership that people can come in, and you really don't have anything else right now to offer, probably I would think the very first step that you would take towards adding something new would probably be personal training. That would be the
Yeah.
next logical step.
Yeah, I
Perhaps.
do agree. And this, my first response was going to be staffing, right? You got to have the horses to run this race.
Right. Yeah.
And this is tough when you're like, well, I'm having a hard time. You know, we're not, listen, guys, I'm not here. If you're listening to the show and you're making $5 million a year in your gym, like, I don't know, you fucking don't need to worry about us helping you make a few of these incremental changes to smooth things out. Like if you're crushing it, I don't know, maybe the fucking, you don't got to worry. You've already figured out, if you're making a shitload of money in your fitness business, you've already figured out staffing. And I'm hoping you figured out sales. Now you should be just aligning yourself on how to do things the right way, right? And optimizing things for your clients, because then things will go. If you're not in that situation, hiring a new person, if you're struggling with money, it's already a tough step. That's a big step. So personal training is one of those things that I do like if you can find a good personal trainer, because it doesn't cost you anything. Reality, right? You're only going to pay them for the hours that they're coaching, the hours that they are successfully working with people, meaning you're not paying for a bunch of floor time or anything like that. So it is actually not, bringing in personal training is not as big of a risk as people think if you do it right. Like, it's just find a horse, strap somebody to it, or strap a wagon to it, and see where they take them. And if they don't take them very far, you fucking, who gives a shit? Put a bullet in the horse's head and move on. Okay. You don't have to take a ton of risk financially to bring on a personal trainer or develop it, as long as they're not a fucking weirdo or they don't do anything to mess up your reputation. Like, getting a personal trainer who has some availability and trying to sell them is frankly, it's fucking really easy. So gyms that have a hard time doing things like that, like implementing personal training, it's because you're keeping everything too close to your chest. You think that, oh, well, they got to learn how to coach the way that I coach, and they got to know everything about everything. And I do not believe that's the case. I believe the perfect is the enemy of the good. Someone who actually gives a shit, who can get a person to trust them. That coach is going to crush it. It's just always going to crush it. You will be successful if you care, and people will believe in the things that you say. And then it's just on you to be right. Whereas we just worry about, a lot of coaches worry about being right first. And then like nobody gives a fuck, and they're just yelling into the void. So personal training, that's thing one. I think for sure that's a great thing that you can do to like break out of your, fuck, I only have the single revenue stream. I'm trying to optimize this one thing. Now, to push back on my own statement, though, to play devil's advocate, I do think there is value for some gyms, depending on your type. Not most gyms, not the type of gym that I would necessarily want to open for the way I want to coach and the way I want to be. There is a place for a gym that has such a narrow scope of fitness that it's very easy to identify, and people know exactly what you do, right? You're a cycling gym, or you're a Orange Theory, or you're whatever, right? If you do a very, very specific type of training, what do they call this? Like, your unique, I think Brower always called this like your unique fitness proposition. You have to craft, people need to know that you have this separate methodology and that's your thing, right? And I think he's talked about tempo being one thing that he had done in one of his gyms. And there's plenty of versions of that out there. CrossFit has a very, very specific methodology, right? And people know what to expect kind of when they go into a CrossFit gym. And if you are that narrowed up, maybe like, listen, if your Soul Cycle is offering personal training, it's like, well, what are we going to do? Just going to ride the bike with you? I don't know. And by the way, maybe they fucking do. I should look into that. But that's also kind of okay. You can optimize for your one thing, but no, you're playing a very much a commoditized business then at that point, which is fine. But you're not going to be able to try to do more for people in that framework usually. But if you're able to, personal training's thing one that I would recommend. The other one that you can do without any staff, if you're looking to implement something that is a short-term push, I believe is a nutrition still. And I believe if you don't have, we would go back an episode or two where we talk about how to implement the way that we implement the nutrition coaching that we do. You can do things, launch things like that as a challenge. I'm okay with using that as an internal challenge and external if you want. But launching a nutrition program that's a short-term journey, like here's how we're going to eat this week, here's how we're all going to eat this next week, and we're going to do this for a month or 5 weeks or 6 weeks and get measurables. It gets everybody bought in. It brings your community together. It gets people on the same page. They're all having a similar experience. That's very important in building a community. And when you do that, I think your gym becomes tighter. But most importantly for you as a gym owner, you're learning how to coach nutrition in a way that works, and you're building a product that sells. And so that's one of the things that I'm okay with starting with as well, because this can now be an ongoing thing that anyone can comes in. Once you get this right, after a few tries, running it like a challenge, you can always run that as an ongoing thing now. That's a part of your offer stack. When someone comes in, hey, you're looking to get started or do this, just know nutrition is really important. We have like a 6-week kind of dial in your nutrition challenge, get you from shit to fit or whatever pretty quick. And doing that, I think, gives you an excuse to be paid to craft your nutritional onboarding system, because so many people treat nutrition coaching as, here is how your life is going to be with food forever. And it's like, well, motherfucker, get me from A to B to C to D before you just talk about Z, right? It's too much. So this allows you to really build a journey by building out like a singular program, like a little pathway that we're going to take everybody through. And then what you actually have there is a product. Now you have one thing that you can sell when someone new comes in. And now that doesn't become something that's seasonal. That becomes now part of your bread and butter. That becomes a factor in your initial ticket price when people come in and buy. It becomes an extremely important factor in the success that your clients are going to have, especially if you're interested at all in body composition or weight loss. And I've said this before, if you're not interested in body composition or weight loss, I don't fucking know who you're coaching. I guess there are people that are worried about performance. If you're out there coaching competitive powerlifters or competitive CrossFitters or selling fitness to fit people, that's wonderful. But I don't think, let's be real, I don't believe that that is impactful. So if you got into this industry to make a change in your community because health is actually important to you, not just hanging around fit people and being a gym guy, then I do think you actually need to have something in your toolbox that's going to help the people in your community get in shape and lose weight.
Well, just because you're leaving so much meat on the bone.
Totally.
Like just the sheer numbers of, even if you have let's say you do have population density to be able to support such specialization for folks, it doesn't matter. That just means that you can niche down that hard to be in that single lane, while knowing full well that there's 99% of the population that would benefit from not that thing, to have it be more generalized, to have it be more fitness of weight loss, weight related.
John, if I became a doctor because I wanted to help, I wanted to make an impact, right? I wanted to help like really sick people get hope and cure them. And right, that's the reason I got into becoming a doctor. And then instead, I just do Botox injections and fake tits. What, right? And that's
You
where
are
I'm
helping
at. That's what,
someone.
yeah. I mean, it's great. You're making good money and somebody needs it. And guess what? Those people probably spend great and it's all elective and that's great. But just know that if you're a business, if you're looking around and the only people that are really working with you are already fit, already they're like, okay, but these people are going to be fit whether you're there or not. And so what role do you play? Are you just a place for them? And that's, by the way, okay, man. I like,
Yeah.
that's fine. It's fine. But if you're a person who in your heart, you're in this to actually have an impact, then what in the fuck are you doing trying to avoid? My thing is like, give me the biggest fucking guys.
Right.
Shit. You know how easy it is to pump those numbers? If I got 375-pound guys, that's great numbers. It's also great impact. People know those people. They see them. It's like, they'll go around. Geez, that guy was so big. Holy shit. And have you seen him? He looks great. He's lost 100 fucking pounds. That's the stuff where people start talking in the community around you. Like that's the type of things that will give you one, that's your real fucking legacy.
Yeah.
A fit person who's going to be fit no matter where they are is going to go to some gym and it's all going to work out for them no matter what. Okay. If that's your legacy, that was the place where they could go versus no. Families, generations of people. Like we've had great success getting husbands, fathers, business people to implement changes for their coworkers, their families, their wives, their parents. This is hugely impactful. That's the fucking point, dude. Don't be a part of the problem of the industry as a whole, which is why we suck and why we just keep making more money and people keep getting fatter.
The one thing too that the one thing I like about the nutrition, about that being a thing that you can do, is that I think there's a large percentage of you as a gym owner that you don't have the cash flow to buy your way to answers quickly. Like
Correct.
it just is like the easiest way that you can skip the line to make up the fact that instead of this taking 5 years to learn, I could do this in 6 months because you pay for that.
Yeah.
Get mentors, you get people to come in, they help you, and you get to accelerate that. So a lot of you are stuck in the spot where it's either I'm going to do it on my own or I'm not going to look at this at all. And that ends up being, honestly, because it's so much time, it's the most expensive way that you can do this. But it also is reality. Like, let's not like shy away from like, yeah, dude, if I had 10 grand, I would happily pay somebody to help me do X, Y, and Z, but I don't have that. So I just have to go it alone. And so you have to, then now you're deciding, right? Is where am I going to put my time? Where am I going to be able to put my energy? Because I don't have the time to do this. And that's one of those things where it's money is always replenishable, but your time is not. And that's that kind of that balancing act and that weighing act. And this is why I like the nutrition, to bring it back around, is that this is one of those things that if you do it right, the way we teach, which is like inside out, where it's you beta test it, like you said, you get people that are your select people that can essentially pay you to be able to perfect this process. You start small within yourself as the coach, or as a gym owner, where you have all the control, beta test it, sharpen it up, and then allow it to expand that ripple effect just a little bit further out, keep it inside, and then let it continue to come out to the point to where now you have, like you said, that external opportunity to sell nutrition. All the things that we've talked about, the ultimate downsell that nutrition provides you, the fact that it can be ran as a challenge and you can have that be an entry point for anybody to come in, the fact that you can have it bolted on. So bolted on to a standard membership. Now it can be added to improve just a standard membership, all the way to enhancing personal training.
Yes.
Like, so it's one of those things that this allows itself to be applied all the way up, everything that you could offer, all the way to you're going to run the camp, you're going to run that specialty program, you're going to run that time-bound thing, and then upsell another opportunity for someone to experience success if it's applicable is great. We also can tie in this for a 5-week period, for a 10-week period. And now that's just bolted on. That's the power that nutrition has, because it's so valuable, because it will follow you. It'll follow you every single step of the way in anything that you possibly could offer if you do it the right way. And then it's one of those things that are with you forever in every single piece. And I think that's really powerful, especially for some of you that are more strapped for time and strapped for cash, because it will immediately increase that overall revenue.
And I think it's really important to know that in trying to build your base, the thing that you do year round, your we call EFTs if you're a standard like, membership run in place. If you're a personal training sales, it becomes a little bit different. But what's your consistent business? What are your 12-month people, right? And in order to develop that, you need to have a system that keeps them there, keeps them engaged. It needs to be fun. It needs to work, but it needs to work for them. And I think that attracting people who are really interested in making a long-term change when they're ready is the most important, because your business's long-term success will go either one of two ways. It will either be dependent on your ability to sell and churn and burn, just sell, attract and sell, market, sell, market, sell, market, sell. Or your business's long-term success can be on the actual success of your clients. And I think that if I'm able to attract clients who know that the people who come to me get results, the people that join my nutrition program lose 20 pounds every 5 weeks. That's just what they fucking do, dude. So I've heard that people have heard about it. People know about it. They hear the stories. They see the guys. Like, mission fucking accomplished, right? I don't have to be smart. I don't have to tell people, John, I don't tell people about what I coach these guys to do. I don't tell them about the specifics. I don't tell them about the food plan. I don't tell them about what we really even do in the thing. You know what they ask me? Hey, I know I eat like shit and I need to fucking fix it because I want to lose weight. Perfect. Here's how we start. Man, that's a lot easier than trying to fucking put out a bunch of content telling people how smart you are. Well, this muscle and the knee and the back, if you use the back and the this and that, like, fucking who gives a shit? By the way, like, how competitive is that content market? Everybody's making fucking good content telling you that this lift this way is bad, or this anatomically is how you need to do this, or do you got knee pain? Here's how this goes. Your shoulder hurt? That's all out there because it's only good for fucking views, dude. People with shoulder pain are not seeking out fit people, fit coaches to go to a CrossFit gym or a functional fitness gym or a personal trainer to solve that injury. You're like the 5th person on the fucking list of people that are interested in seeing about that. They'd rather see a fucking chiropractor, a physical therapist, their general practitioner, who they then hope will fucking refer them to an orthopedic specialist, who they hope can give them imaging and a fucking like diagnosis so that then they could use that as a thing that they identify that gives them an excuse to never train or do anything. So by you feeding that, oh, your injury, let's make this all about your status as your hip or your back, and we'll just work on that. Fuck that, dude. Get these fucking people in shape. You're good enough. Like, you know how to do it. Get them in shape, work around it. Don't hurt it worse. If you know by the way, if you know the things, you don't need to say, I'm going to come in, I'm going to fix your fucking hip, or I'm going to fix your shit. It's like, no, tell you what, I can get you in shape. I get you results you want, and your hip's not going to be all fucked up. Like, I'm not going to say anything about fixing somebody's fucking knee. It's not that I don't care. It's that their knee hurts. That's somebody else's issue. When they come to me, it's because they want to get in shape. They want to lose weight. If I make it about that, when they come in, they're expecting to lose weight. They're expecting to have success, okay? They're expecting to make changes with their nutrition. If I come in and some fucking dork wants to make it all about my shoulder or my knee or my neck or my back and fucking movement quality, anybody using the term movement specialist fucking sucks, dude. Some fake-ass guru shit, okay? I'd like to be the fucking weight loss specialist. Because you know what? People want that. Nobody who's not joining a gym right now goes, God, I should go to a movement specialist. How fucking impactful is that going to be in your community? And these coaches will get like 2 people a fucking year who will actually trust them to do such a thing, which is great. But you can help people with their shoulder pain and their back pain, not by avoiding it either. Like, you can work on it directly. But if your business's actual fucking sales pitch is what it should be, hopefully, right? If you're in the fitness business, is getting people fit who aren't fit and being a place where fit people can continue to train, that is effective, building a good environment for that. But it's built on actual success, not trying to coax out the rare trust of somebody who's at their wits' end with the medical system, and my doctor couldn't fix my shoulder, so I go to some dumb fuck fake ass guru coach who just makes internet content, who, by the way, most of these coaches are not making the best internet content either. That's the other issue. So you're just one of a million people now doing this same shit. Versus if everybody knew in your area that most people who got 20 pounds to lose, 30 pounds to lose, 80 pounds to lose, who go to you, lose it, you know, they're going to be beating a path to your door.
And and here's what's interesting. It's a misalignment. So don't make any mistake. This is not us shitting on education and shitting on the fact that as a coach, you want to know how to be able to fix when somebody is fucking squatting and is overcompensating and shifting to the right. If they have knee pain, they have back pain, they have shoulder. As a coach, you want to know how you can then help that. But understand that it's a misalignment of marketing. That is something that allows you to be more efficient and better at what you do with the people you already have. It's not a lead generator. It's not a marketable thing. It's just a thing
Nobody
that
cares.
No, nobody gives a fuck.
Even people with shoulder pain don't care about coaches talking about shoulder pain. The only people interested in that content are other coaches who are never going to pay you money. That's the realest thing I can tell you guys. I've seen it. I've watched really good, smart gym owners and smart coaches do the fucking dumbest, lamest, fake guru shit marketing ever. Because it's like, I'm fucking super smart at this stuff. And it sucks. It just sucks. And nobody in your market cares. And even worse, people that know you in reality, like, don't trust you for this. They just don't. They just don't. In your own market, they don't trust the guy who got abs or the guy who lifts weights for this. They want you for the things that they assume that you fit into. So you want to frame it differently, great, do whatever, but you cannot wonder why people are not beating down your door trying to do business with you if you're talking about shit that they don't fucking care about, or they certainly don't care to talk to you about.
No, because you're fighting a huge apparatus. Like, understand, like, you can fight the good fight and be a conspiracy theorist or be a witch or a wicked or whatever the fuck you are, that then wants you to kind of dive into this world. But average people don't. They just know, if I'm hurt, I go to a physical therapist, I go to my doctor, this is what I do. And so now you're fighting that entire piece, and it still is misaligned.
Yeah.
And it should be that you have all of this knowledge. So when you have someone that does have knee pain, back pain, whatever it is, that you can get them fit despite of whatever their injuries are.
Exactly. And then I'm not going to make it worse. Not only that you can get fit. If your knee hurts, you can get fit, and I'll make sure it doesn't hurt when we're training. I'll work around it. And usually that's, by the way, that's most of what rehabbing is doing things that don't hurt and building strength. So that's the way that is. Coaches that get caught up in that thing, like the rehabilitation angle of it all, like, they're so naive that they literally think that that's special. No, it's all the fucking same. If my shoulder hurts, if I'm not going to have a surgical intervention, do you know what the solution is? Rest it, and then rest it so there's no instant trauma. Then what's the word? Acute damage, right? So we're going to give it a moment to heal. If I get Kimura and my shit gets ripped off, it's not because because of God knows what. It's like, maybe I need to stop moving it for a little bit. Okay. Once I'm able to move it, I need to move it in ways that doesn't hurt, right? That's it. And then in those ranges of motion that don't hurt, add some weight, add some resistance. So it's fucking very obvious to anybody that knows what they're doing in reality, who's not faking it. Okay. That, like, yeah, if you come in and your shoulder hurts, like, it's something we'll have to work around. But anyone who coaches people for weight loss over a long enough timeline knows that you're always working around something.
Right.
Fat people, out of shape people, there's always something. So why are we acting like that's special? It's just not. And I think that is you mentioned it just perfectly, John, is that, like, this is bad marketing. That's all. Because the people just don't give a shit.
Right. Yeah. And it's not, and that's where, for us, the focus is whatever you have in your business, we want to actually be able to move the needle to help generate revenue, success, allow people to be able to experience success as a client. Therefore, you make more revenue as a gym owner. So, but the problem is, you can't be misaligned what you're talking about and how you're talking about it, because then you get confused. Because then if you're talking about the wrong things, you may do all the right things, but the error was made way back there. You're now talking about the wrong shit. So what you're trying to promote or pump out isn't getting picked up, and you're really confused why shit just isn't working. Why can't I be able to get more clients? People aren't coming in. They're not talking to me about weight loss because I'm spending so much time misaligned with what I'm trying to talk about. And then it doesn't solve our issue where we taught at the beginning, which is you have a natural flow within your gyms. The style of gym that you have, what you have, the time of year. If you've been open for more than a year, you know you have those ebbs and flows. And our purpose is always to, if you know you naturally have a lull over, say, a 12-week period, a 16-week period, and it happens every year, and you know why it happens. The issue is not the lull. The issue is that you don't have anything to fill that lull.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole point of having, why we even started the discussion of, do you have nutrition? Do you have specialty programs? Do you have these other things that then allows you to be able to say, hey, we know that what we normally market or however we normally talk, that
Fails
that
during
cast
this time.
audience. Yeah.
Fails. That's the reality. If we got a lull where, say, oh, this time of year, new leads are down or organic traffic's down, what you're talking about is failing. And that's okay. It may not connect to that audience at that time, and that's fine, but it's not working. It may just be for that month because those types of people are busy or have some seasonal shit or whatever. But it also means that you're not being successful at anything at that point. So if your whole system is down, then it's like, yes, we can do specialty programs, we can do one-offs or whatever, singular things to fix that problem. The other thing is, instead of plugging in something brand new, we also have the opportunity, like, okay, well, maybe we need to address our overall messaging so that we can attract people who don't stop going to the gym for 4 months out of the year.
Correct.
Right. Or whatever that is, So there's two sides to that coin, and there's two sides to how you need to buffer through it. But again, talking about this little part of the thing that you do is just fucking stupid. People don't care. And the people who want to lose weight, which should be most of the people in my community here, if they were given the opportunity to get their body fat from where it is now to something like awesome, they would do it, right? John, if you could take your body fat to just like ripped right now, would you do it? Of course I would.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not even gonna let you answer that question. But so most people would, if given the chance. It's a thing that most people connect to. John, I don't know if you know many fit people. I do. They all also want to be fitter and more jacked. So like,
Yes.
Progress is the path, not focusing on their problems. This becomes the way people are with any diagnosis. You see people get like a clever mental health diagnosis, or even worse, they'll self-diagnose, right? And now their whole identity is the ADHD person, or the I'm on the spectrum a little bit kind of person. And it's fucking just insufferable and lame. That's what most of you guys are doing, making all this shit about their shoulders or back or knee pain and shit. It's dumb. It's just dumb. And those products that are coming, that are out there for coaches to be like, oh my God, sweet. It's a knee learning program. I'm going to take a fucking 8-week knee learning. I'm going to coach knees. You don't coach knees, motherfucker. You coach people. And most people aren't going to come to you for their knee. The knee is simply a barrier, or a perceived barrier, to their ability to be successful. Do you know how you can make them overcome that perception? By being really, really, really successful, really consistently. So that instead of saying to somebody, putting out your stuff like, so-and-so came in with knee pain and now his knee doesn't hurt. Okay, what would help would actually be, so-and-so came to me to lose 20 pounds. He lost 30 pounds and his knee hurts less than it did when he came in. These people are making these like little features of the things that they do and know, and they're making it the centerpiece of their brand, and it sucks. So don't fucking do that.
Well, and Tyler, we've been in the fitness education space now for so long, way before we started working with gym owners specifically, and this is literally the reason why. There was always a misalignment. There was we talk about, and we haven't talked about it a lot lately, but we have spent so many episodes over the last hundreds of episodes that we've done of setting expectations. How important expectations are, that are literally everything. And the expectation that a lot of you coaches, and therefore gym owners, have, is that the more knowledge you get is the more money you'll make. And I cannot describe more of a misalignment that exists, to where if you think you now become a knee expert, that is somehow going to allow you to make more money. And that is where the misalignment is. Do you want to get better at knees, backs, and hips and all that kind of shit? I'm all for it. I'm
Of
all
course you
for
should.
learning more, but it does not translate to dollars. And that was always the piece that was missing. Where we're like, that we have to be able to take this and then actually be able to transfer the knowledge to how do I make money? And that's literally why we started doing this exact thing, which is
Yeah.
there's too many really smart, really good natured, wanting to do the right thing people out there that continued to just go down the rabbit hole of fucking knowledge and dorkdom that never translate to them making any money. And they all fucking close their spots.
All
They
of
stop coaching because they have no more fucking money.
yeah.
But boy,
By
they're
the
so
way,
fucking smart.
in this process, their pursuit of their own fitness fucking goes by the wayside too. The amount of coaches I see get fat and fucking lazy while under this endless pursuit of knowledge. It's like, all right, bud, you want to be the fat guy sitting on the end of the bench, fucking watching the kids squat. That's great. But then you're no different than the high school fucking gym coach who just had a gym key. Oh my God, yeah, great technique. Crane your neck to the ceiling when you squat. Nice work, buddy. Like it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, pow. Yeah, we won't fucking roast. We won't roast anybody too hard on here. John, you got to get going here. We have to cut off.
We are at time, aren't we?
All right, that's all good, guys. That's all we got. We won't get into the last subject. So yeah, I don't know. Don't be such a dork. Get out there and fucking help people. I don't know, man. This fucking be cool. Be cool. Get people to get results. It's easy. You heard all the shit from the beginning of the show. Follow all that stuff. We'll see you later. Have a good day.